Shabbat Shalom, Chaverim. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom.
Hallelujah. This is our Shabbat, Erev Shabbat. Everybody is looking forward to Pesach, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes. So this week's Torah portion is called Parashat Tzav. And the Tzav means command. Tzav is actually an action word or a commanding word, which means command. So this Torah portion comes from the book of Leviticus, chapter 6, verse 1, up to chapter 8, verse 36. So today, our short exhortation today is just going to be concentrating mostly on the consecration of Aaron as a priest. Hallelujah. Amen. And his sons, because they were consecrated for priesthood. So we find that this event, it begins in chapter 8, Leviticus chapter 8, which is part of this week's Torah portion. Now, Chaverim, we've got the priesthood in the order of Melchizedek, which is Yeshua. And we've got the priesthood in the order of Aaron. The priesthood in the order of Aaron is what I'm going to be focusing on today. So, chapter 8 of this week's Torah portion marks the beginning of the actual consecration of Aaron and his sons by Moses, as he was directed by God himself. It was a 7-day event. It was packed with a lot of things. Some of them were quite boring, but a lot of them were quite symbolic. 7 full days, and they were in the sanctuary for 7 full days. And this event was so pivotal that it changed the lives of Aaron, his sons, and all the generations after them forever and from generation to generation. And this God spoke about in Exodus chapter 40, verse 15, that the priesthood of Aaron would be forever from generation to generation. But you know, Chaverim, there is a time when people began to doubt that God was going to keep this covenant. Because after the destruction of the first temple, the Davidic kingdom and also the Levite temple service ceased just for some short period or for some period after the destruction of the first temple. And many people thought that God had broken his covenant. Then at that time came prophets like Jeremiah and Ezekiel, prophesying that these covenants would be restored. So, today, because of lack of time, we are just going to be looking at Ezekiel from chapters 40 up to chapter 48. Don't worry, I'm not going to read the whole of that. Hallelujah. But anyway, Ezekiel chapter 40 to 48, I'm hoping that you will make time to read it while you are on your own. It is telling us about Ezekiel's vision of a new futuristic temple. Within this reading, in Ezekiel chapter 44, from verse 14 up to 30, Ezekiel prophesied that the Levitical priests in the lineage of Zadok will be allowed to enter the sanctuary in this new future temple. And they will be allowed to approach the altar to offer sacrifices in this new future temple. This is part of Ezekiel's vision. So Zadok, who was this Zadok? Zadok is in the Kohathite lineage, consisting of Levi, Kohath, Amram, Aaron, Eleazar, Phinehas, and several others listed in 1 Chronicles chapter 6, verse 35 up to 38. And then we come to Zadok. So we find that the lineage under Zadok, those guys are going to be restored in the temple. So while Yeshua is our high priest forever in the order of Melchizedek, the Aaronic priesthood will serve in the future temple. So My prayer today, and I believe to be your prayer today, is that those Levites, those Kohathite Levites who are in the order of Zadok, may God give them foresight, may God give them wisdom, so that they may arise to the occasion of taking up their responsibility, so that when Yeshua is serving as high priest in the temple, that we too will take up our positions as the Aaronic priesthood. Hallelujah. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat
Shabbat
Shalom.
Shalom.
And Shabbat Shalom, Haverim. Thank you so much for your time together with us. We love you all.